Hey, this is Duncan MacPherson with Pareto Systems. I am in the great city of Toronto, Ontario. One of the most culturally rich and diverse cities in the world. Great sports town. I'm actually at the Pearson Airport, named after Prime Minister of Canada back in the 60s, Lester Pearson, who I believe coined the phrase of peacekeepers. And I think it was during his tenure that the now iconic Canadian flag, the maple leaf, was introduced. Such a great airport. You get to virtually anywhere in the world on one airplane. Cairo, Dubai, Dublin, Seoul, Korea, and on it goes. Now, this airport's also referred to as YYZ or YYZ. And of course, when I think of YYZ, I instantly go back to one of my favorite rock bands ever, and that's Rush. You know, in the 80s, I had a pretty tight rotation of 4 core albums. I had others, but you know, with vinyl, you're so invested. It took effort. You couldn't like flip through tracks as quickly. You gave them a chance. But I liked AC/DC, Back in Black, Iron Maiden, Foreigner 4. But my go-to was Rush. Moving Pictures. Tom Sawyer. The best driving song I think I've ever heard, Red Parchetta. And that epic instrumental rock track called YYZ. They could release that right now and it would be the best album. But anyway, so it's interesting. I had a great conversation with a client in our Blue Square, and we were talking about the difference between marketing and branding, and how marketing is generally campaign driven. It's got a beginning and an end, but branding's ongoing. And it brought us to the conversation about the relationship cycle, and this never closes. So if you think about the relationship cycle, the first step when it comes to client acquisition is awareness. A prospective client needs to be aware you exist. And you need a process to sift out the real prospects from the massive suspects. But they need to know you're there. And once they have awareness, the next step is for you to create some interest. And this is where you create professional contrast from their current provider. You trigger that moment of recognition that maybe their current situation is flawed and that there's an alignment of interest between what they need and what you provide. And then once that interest grows, the next step is trust. And that's where the prospective client has this eureka moment where they say to themselves, yeah, I want to do this. But it's self-motivation. They come to their own conclusions about this, right? It's bought, not sold. You don't have to convince them. They have the stage of readiness where they say, okay, this is right for me. And that propels them to action. But again, they close you. They interrupt you in your fit meeting and they say, hey, I've heard enough, I just want to get started. They view it as an accomplishment. Again, it's not a transaction. And that propels them, ideally, to advocacy. I mean, how you start and see that relationship through has a profound impact on their ability to internalize and then go socialize your value. And the irony there is, that's where they do become that advocate and they go out of their way to wave your flag. And not because they're trying to help you grow your business, but they feel they're doing their friends a disservice if they don't make the introduction. They see that alignment of interest. They make the introduction. They don't just say nice things and endorse you. They're an advocate. And that creates more awareness. And that is the purest form of client acquisition, is not going out and trying to convince new people, but working with the people who are already convinced and showing them how to convince people on your behalf. So thanks for watching. This is Duncan MacPherson. This is me. And yeah, hopefully you'll check out the blue square, learn how that might impact you and your business. And until next time, make it a great day.